Hello, everybody. Michael Norwood here with my first news review ever, the news and how it affects you. And today's topic is don't take the bait. Watch this.
New this morning, freshman Congresswoman Marie Newman is speaking out for the first time about her feud with Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene over the Equality Act. That's a law that would ban discrimination against LGBTQ Americans. This began when Congresswoman Newman displayed a transgender flag in the hallway directly across from Congresswoman Greene's office. In response, Greene tweeted, referring to Newman's 20-year-old transgender daughter as her, quote, biological son. Hours later, Marjorie Taylor Greene then posted this video of her putting a sign up that reads, quote, there are two genders, male and female, trust the science, exclamation point. Joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Marie Newman for her first interview on this issue. Congresswoman, thank you very much for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
How did this fight with Marjorie Taylor Greene start exactly?
Well, it was never meant to be a fight. It was a statement I felt very necessary. This woman has supported insurrection. She voted against the election. She believes in a wide variety of conspiracy theories. She has been called out any number of times. But on this issue yesterday, she tried to block the Equality Act. And I felt as though she needed to hear from us. And what I mean by that is that I just wanted to make a statement so that she sees LGBTQ plus people. And so the symbolism was simply to put the flag out there so she has to see our community every day. I'm immensely proud of my daughter, and that's all anyone is asking for, is to be treated as anyone else.
So what was so extraordinary about this clip was how Representative Marie Newman, the freshman Congresswoman, how she's actually doing something so good in the world. She's promoting this Equality Act. Before she got into Congress, she fought against bullying in schools, doing great work in the world. She has a daughter who's transgender, so she has an open heart. She understands what it's like to be repressed and to be discriminated against. And yet, the unfortunate thing that I feel in this video is she took the bait. She took the bait of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is just a master at getting people to take the bait. She's just a master at getting under people's skin. And somehow or another, she thrives on it. And whatever wounds, whatever past history that's inside of her, the way to respond to somebody like that is just listening, not reacting. Because as soon as you react, as soon as you provoke them, basically they're better at that game, a heck of a lot better at that game than you are. And they're going to win every time. However, if you change the playing field, if you change the rules, and basically the rules that I believe that we should play by are what I call the 5 phases of speaking your truth. And the first phase is simply, number one, holding the space. And then the second phase would be speak the other person's truth. If I was Representative Marie Newman and I was having a conversation with Marjorie Taylor Greene, not to say that I'm not capable of having my goat gotten as well, just as you in your life. Just think of all the situations where people get your goat, how you respond, how you react, how you put up resistance. But rather than that, why not model the beautiful people that we hold as luminaries? As an example, John Lewis, who I'm going to quote from in just a moment, have that understanding as John Lewis so beautifully has left a legacy in his books, one of which I'm reading right now. Been reading it for over 6 months, just each paragraph. I let it swill inside of me, not just in my mind, but in my soul, because it is so uplifting. He quotes Martin Luther King, how we're all linked by this web of mutuality. And what that means essentially is that the wounds that I see in you, that I may be tempted to reflect back because of wounds in me, that I may be tempted to respond in anger or meet tit for tat or an eye for an eye. Well, to use another great luminary's quote, Mahatma Gandhi, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth just leaves the entire world blind and toothless. And so using the 5 phases, holding the space, speaking her truth as an example in this situation, saying to Marjorie Taylor Greene, I get why transgenderism may be a hard nut for you to swallow. Can you share with me what your feelings are? Phase 4, asking questions of grace, bringing it out of her, letting her express herself. Because as we express ourselves, as we spill the parts of ourselves that are not so beautiful, what happens, it allows us to let that go. And if you try to do that from the outside to somebody, force them into your way of thinking, the end result is exactly as we witnessed here in this video. Tit for tat, Marjorie Taylor Greene coming up with a hurtful statement in response to Representative Newman's putting up her sign, and the war just goes on to perpetuity until somebody steps in with that higher consciousness, somebody like a Nelson Mandela, like a John Lewis. They just recognize that responding in violence just leads to more violence, to more anger, to more hatred, to more division, whereas responding not just with love, but with understanding, with acceptance, and certainly doing what we have to do to protect those who need protecting, as in this Equality Act, a beautiful act that was just voted on and passed through the House of Representatives, that hopefully will be passed through the Senate. So we do what we have to do, but at the same time, we want to do it in a way that actually raises the other one up, brings them up to our level, rather than us falling to their level. In the next video in the series, I'm going to show a clip of David Hogg, the very famous survivor from the Parkland High School shooting, and how he basically handled an attack by Marjorie Taylor Greene before she was a Congresswoman, when she was just trying to get herself known. Anyway, stay tuned for that, to watch somebody, a kid, who just handled the situation beautifully in that luminary fashion, with that great degree of grace, and exhibiting every single principle that I talk about with the 5 phases.